Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 28 of my Billions and Billions challenge. In today's episode, I am going to set up a scrap factory in this building right here. This building is almost an identical mirror of the building that I built in the previous episode. It does have nuclear reactors, which are ready to go. They're not actually on right now because this system doesn't have anything to power just yet. So let's get started. The first thing that I want to do is I want to crawl into my hazmat suit once again because I need to set up the automatic I/O of those reactors that I set up in the last episode. I didn't actually do that as I did not have any of the depleted fuel to actually set up my retriever. So one thing I should mention is that between episodes I have built my quantum suit from the mod IndustrialCraft2. It's just I wouldn't say it's super standard, but it's mostly just crafting recipes to get to the quantum suit, and it does require some charge, so I just threw it into MFSUs to charge. And this suit allows me to run really fast and to fly as well. Because I already had flight, I didn't want to give that up, obviously. So the quantum suit is pretty much just general improvement over what I had before. So what I actually need to do right now is I actually need to grab a depleted fuel rod, and I am in my scuba suit, or my hazmat suit rather. So I should be able to grab that fuel rod without any adverse effects. So one thing I do need to remember to do, I need to remember to flip this lever off. And I need to do this because that lever also controls the activity of the retriever that I'm about to set up and the servo I'm about to set up. And I don't want this retriever on just yet because I actually need to set up to be whitelisted before it can start pulling things out. If it were not set up correctly, it would be a problem if it would be on too early. So as we can see, it actually shouldn't be pulling anything out just yet, and it hasn't. I already had that quad fuel rod in there. But here in just a couple of minutes, it will actually start pulling out fuel rods once I actually turn that lever back on. So let's go back up here and let's set up the servo. This servo just needs to simply be on, and it will be on once the lever is flipped, so I don't need to do anything additional other than just setting up that servo. So let's run back upstairs and flip this lever. As we can see, these reactors are full of depleted fuel rods and nothing is running because there's no power being provided. So let's go ahead and flip this lever. Let's run over here. Should be the first fuel rod should be pulled out, and it looks like that is true. And now we have some fresh fuel in here. So these reactors will automatically refuel when they need to be refueled, which is fantastic. Currently, I don't have those depleted fuel rods going anywhere, but in the future I will set something up back at my main base. So I think I can crawl back into my quantum suit here so I can fly again. And let's go ahead and put away this hazmat suit because I don't think I will need it anymore. So the next thing that I'm going to do in today's episode is I'm going to set up a scrap factory, and this will vastly improve the efficiency of the Matter Fabricators over there in that building. The scrap factory will be run off of power from this building, and so let's start grabbing things. So let's grab all of the retrievers and recyclers as well as the transformer upgrades. So this is actually going to be a pretty simple setup, to be honest. So the first thing I'm going to need to do, and I actually could have done this beforehand, is I need to dig some trenches here because I am going to put cobblestone generators down here where I'm digging these trenches. And what the cobblestone generators will do is they will provide cobblestone to all of the recyclers that I'm going to place on top of them. So what the recyclers do is they take any item in the game, and you can throw, like I said, any item into a recycler, and it has a chance to produce scrap. I think the chance is something like 1/8, so 12.2 or 12.5%. The other 87.5%, it does nothing whatsoever. So I should have just enough dense cobblestone generators here to fill up all of the holes here in the ground that I made. So let's go ahead and put these things down. These do produce an insane amount of cobblestone. It is, I think, 128 cobblestone per second, which is a ridiculous rate. But how I'm going to set up my recyclers today is so that they will actually burn through items really, really fast, or they will be able to. And with these cobblestone generators underneath them, they will burn through this cobblestone very quickly. but it will be super advantageous. Oh, whoops. So I didn't mean to put down those batch crafters just yet. So, okay, shoot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run back to my main base real fast and grab a couple of wrenches because I need to remove those batch crafters. So after I am back here with my wrenches, I will be right back. So I have a couple of wrenches, so let's go ahead and pick these guys up because that's not where I want to put my batch crafters. I want to put recyclers here. So let's go ahead and continue putting down the recyclers. And if we look into the inventories, all of these recyclers should be full because of the cobblestone generators underneath them. So let's go ahead and continue placing these guys. And in the future, there is a chance that I will expand this area down below, but there's actually a pretty good chance that all I do today is how this building will stay. So actually, let's go ahead and turn these around just to be consistent here. That way, when or if I go ahead and put more recyclers down, they will be facing the correct direction in the future. So let's grab a wrench and let's go ahead and correct these. Might as well since I'm here. So there we go. So the next thing I want to do is let's go ahead and hook these bad boys up to power for right now. And I actually want to go ahead and get rid of this cobblestone. It's going to be annoying if I don't. So let's go ahead and grab some of the glass fiber cable. And let's actually get rid of at least one of these wrenches. I'm going to keep the other one with me in case I make another mistake here. But what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to run the glass fiber cable here. And actually, I'm kind of second guessing this, but let's go ahead and do this. And we can go ahead and connect this up to the power from over here. So one bank of reactors is going to power these 40 recyclers, and the other bank of reactors will power the other 40. And I'm actually going to be producing probably quite a bit more power than I actually need, but that's completely fine with me. But before I actually turn on the reactors, there is one more thing I need to do. I need to actually insert upgrades into the recyclers. So each recycler needs to have 4 of the transformer upgrades. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is let's go ahead and grab some of the overclocker upgrades as well. And actually, let's just get rid of everything we don't need just right now. Actually, duh, I don't know why I'm doing that. So I'm just going to grab all these upgrades. And in every single one of these recyclers, I'm going to place 4 transformer upgrades along with 12 of the overclocker upgrades. I might actually need to reduce that number down to 10. I can't really remember. I've done this before. I've obviously set up recyclers before, but I can't remember if I can use 10 overclockers or 12. So I'm going to go ahead and set all of the recyclers up to have 4 transformer upgrades and 12 overclocker upgrades. This is obviously going to take a little bit of time and be very monotonous. So once I have this task accomplished, I will be right back. So I have all of the upgrades that I had planned to put in the recyclers already in there. So what I can go ahead and do is I can go ahead and flip the lever up here and turn the system on, at least initially, and everything should run as planned. So the nuclear reactors here produce 1120 EU per tick, and I didn't actually clarify how much power these recyclers use. They use 1 EU per tick traditionally. However, with overclocker upgrades, the increase of power is to 28,147%. So that would be 281 EU per tick. I actually have 40 nuclear reactors above powering 80 recyclers down here. So I do have way more than enough power. So one thing that I do want to go ahead and do, and we can already see that the recyclers are already full of scrap, so there's no reason to have my reactors on right now, so I'm going to go ahead and turn them off. But one more thing I would like to do is I would like to add 2 of the energy storage upgrades to each recycler. The recyclers actually shouldn't run out of power with this amount of upgrades because they do use 281 EU per tick. However, they are able to self-store 326 EU. So they should be replenished often enough to continue running. And it looked like they were. I didn't see any blinking when I came down here. And what I mean by blinking, when the recyclers are on, you can see a red ring up here. And traditionally, if they're trying to pull too much power, more power than their internal buffer can hold, they will actually blink on and off, and you will see that red light blinking. So what I am going to do, I am going to go ahead and throw in the energy upgrades, and that just increases the internal buffer by 10,000 EU for each of the energy storage upgrades. So therefore having 2 energy storage upgrades increases the buffer from 326 to 20,326. So obviously that's going to be pretty beneficial if I have these things running all of the time, at least if they were to be blinking in the first place, which I'm not even sure if they were. But I am going to go ahead and throw these energy upgrades in here. It will take a little while, so I will be back once I'm done with that. Now I am truly done setting up the recyclers. They all have the proper upgrades in them. The next thing that I want to do is I want to set up a pair of batch crafters, and what the batch crafters will do is they will take the scrap and turn it into scrap boxes. And that is just for me to have a little bit better movement efficiency as I move the scrap from the scrap factory here to the Matter Fabricators over in the other building. So let's go ahead and set up those crafters. So I'm going to put one of them right there and the other one over here, I think. So now I need to go ahead and set up item conduits to get the scrap out of these recyclers and into the batch crafters. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is let's go ahead and start setting this up. I am actually going to set up half of the recyclers to output to one batch crafter and then the other half to output to the other batch crafter. I think that's probably the best way to do this. But first I actually need to get all this item conduit set up, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually have the glass fiber cable on top of the machines and the item conduit between the machines, or the item conduits on top of the recyclers and the glass fiber cable between the machines. I think either would have worked fine, to be honest, so I just went with this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to actually set up half these to output to one color and half of them to output to the other color. I think is the best way to do this. So let's go ahead and connect this up from right here, and that's going to be because I also will need to extract out of the batch crafters. So let's go ahead and set up that real fast. So I'm going to extract on the blue channel out of this one, and we can set this to be insert on the blue channel here, and it will need to be extract. I'm not sure what color yet. Let's go ahead and do red. Extract on red I think will work fine, and then over here we'll do much the same, I guess. That's blue and red, so let's make this black, output to black, insert to black, and then you know what, let's actually do a different color for the output here. So did red and black. Let's go ahead and do white. Okay, that'll be fine. So the inputs for the batch crafters, let's go ahead and say green for one, and then brown for the other. So green and brown are going to be my two colors over here. So let's go ahead and run this across. And let's actually drop this down on this first row and then the back row. And then the other one will be the two middle rows, I think. I think that'll work fine. Actually, it doesn't super matter how I set this up. Actually, I do want to connect these up. Even though I don't super have to. I think I am going to. Yeah, that was... There's a lot of different ways I could have done this, to be honest. So this will be insert on brown. So half of them need to be brown. So let's get the conduit probe here. And let's actually just do the back half as being extract on brown, always on. So let's copy that and then just paste it across for this right here, and then the next row as well. And I didn't actually tag that one. I know I kind of went against my initial plan of having the front and back row together and then the two middle rows being together, but it honestly doesn't matter. I just want half of the scrap to go to one and half to go to the other. So the other one is insert on green, I believe. Yeah, insert on green. So let's run back over here, and this will need to be extract on green, always on. So let's go ahead and copy those settings by shift right clicking, and then we can go ahead and set the rest of them up. And now I actually have to be a little bit more careful with these because I do need to look at the bottom of the screen there for the pasted conduit settings to make sure that that shows up every time I click, because these are already green. They're already set up to be extract on green. It's just that they're not actually turned on yet, or I don't have them as being their redstone mode being always on. So that's the important change that I'm making for these. So let's see here. Looks like everything's ready to go. I do need to add some upgrades for the batch crafters, and those would be the same upgrades that I have in the recyclers. I'm not sure how many overclockers I need. I'm going to start out with, let's say 4, and if they start getting overwhelmed, I obviously have more overclockers with me, so I can throw in more of those. So I do need to get these things power, so let's go ahead and run some conduit. And actually, there's not going to be a super clean way to do this. Yeah, like I said, not a super clean way to do this. Yeah, that'll be fine. Just run it kind of around the room like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the reactors back on upstairs, so we should start seeing some scrap make its way to the batch crafters over here. Assuming that everything is set up correctly, and right now it doesn't seem to be. You know what, let's go ahead and grab this and see if setting up the recipe actually helps. Yes, it does. So that's all I needed to do there. So it does look like I do need to speed these up a little bit more. So let's go ahead and try that. And let's set up this batch crafter as well. And I'm not sure how much power the batch crafter uses by default, so I do need to be careful not to try to give it too many overclockers. So let's go ahead and have this be extract always on. And I do need to put some speed upgrades in here, so let's go ahead and just fill it with speed upgrades. I have enough with me to go ahead and fill that up. So I'm not sure if 10 is actually going to be enough overclocker upgrades, which is kind of funny. So we are starting to get the scrap boxes into the black hole units here. Let's go ahead and make sure that I have these set up. Okay, so extract on red is one of them. So the other one's white. So red and white are the colors I need to remember, because now I need to get these scrap to my actual Matter Fabricators over there. So let's go ahead and grab some more conduit here. Actually, I might need to go back to my main base and grab more. It's kind of looking that way anyways. So let's... And I'm not sure the best way to do this. Let's actually run the conduit kind of underneath the wall here. And I think I have this set to single mode. So let's just dig out a big area here. And actually, I know for a fact I'm going to be just a little bit short on item conduits, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to run back to my main base to get some more conduit. Sorry, Mr. Doors. Okay, so where's the Matter Fabricator? It would be right here. So I don't need to go any further than that. And actually, I do have a hole underneath. So red and white are the two colors. So let's go ahead and put item conduit here. Let's go ahead and set this to be insert on the red. So let's go ahead and tick that. And to be honest, did I even set that up in the right spot? Nope. No, I didn't. I knew I was screwing something up. So, actually, this doesn't matter. I'm just going to disconnect it. rather than trying to retrieve it, because I don't actually have a wrench with me. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to run back to my main base and get some more item conduit, because I am a little bit short, and once I have that item conduit, I will be right back. So I have my item conduit, so let's go ahead and finish this setup. So I should have the item conduit hooked up down below, and actually I didn't go ahead and do that. So let's set this one up to be red, insert on red, the other one needs to be white. So before I forget, let's actually go ahead and do that. So this once again needs to be on white. Insert, we don't need to extract anything. And there we go, so that'll be where I hook up to the outside. So let's go ahead and run this conduit over. Is that the matter? No. Okay, so, oh yeah, I went ahead and set up item conduit. Actually, I'm going to need to wrench some of these connections. I totally forgot that I even did this. I did this between episodes because for whatever reason the ejector upgrades weren't working like they should. They would eject the very first gold ore into the black hole unit, and then they wouldn't inject anything more from, and I don't really know why. So I just set up item conduit, and that seems to work fine. So I don't actually need to even do anything over here, because all the item conduit will be over here. I believe, yes. So let's go ahead and that should hook up. I don't actually want to hook this up just yet, so I'm going to leave this one blank because I want to actually show a comparison of how fast they will run. Okay, so that should be everything. Let's go ahead and put some stone back to neaten things up. Actually, I need to leave that blank. I do have some facades here, so I can facade this up and put my doors back on. And let's go ahead and take a look at the comparative speed here. This Matter Fabricator does not have scrap yet. The other one should. So if you look closely, it is going up fairly quickly, but it could go up quite a bit quicker. So yeah, this is going up quite a bit quicker. I do need to go ahead and get some more extract speed upgrades on that so that it's not actually running out of scrap boxes continually. So let's go ahead and do that before I forget. So speed upgrades here. Do I have speed upgrades over here? I do. So I wanted speed upgrades for everyone. Now we have speed upgrades for everyone. Let's go back and take a look at the speed. It should be much quicker than the other one. So yeah, it's absolutely tearing through. It's making quite a bit more. So actually, I'm making so much UU matter at this point, I might actually need to throw an overclocker in my replicators, which isn't a bad thing. Okay, it looks to be slowly declining at this point. If we run over here, this one is obviously not running in excess right now because I don't have it hooked up just yet. But once I do, it should also run quite a bit quicker. So did I not? Okay, there it goes. I was wondering why it wasn't getting any scrap yet. Oh, I didn't go ahead and put these back. So let's put those back. I do want to go ahead and cover this up as well as this right here. But I think that's just about all for today. So in today's episode, I set up this scrap factory. It will produce scrap for my Matter Fabricators over there, which will greatly increase the speed and efficiency at which I'm producing gold ore over here. In the next episode, I do need to set up a system to actually get the gold ore to my main base, and obviously I'm going to be using the rails out here to do that. So if you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to drop a like down below, and if you like watching automation type stuff in modern Minecraft, definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.